Thank you for joining Craig's Gun Channel this week. My name's Craig, and this week I thought we'd talk about blowback-operated firearms. Now, a blowback-operated firearm is one that quite simply uses the blowback principle to cycle the action. The energy that's used to propel the bullet forward out of the gun firing it is also used to propel the cartridge case rearward. This pushes the bolt rearward, which then cycles the action. It recocks the weapon, and when the bolt goes back forward from the recoil springs, it'll pick up another cartridge and chamber it in the firearm, ready to be fired again. Now, essentially, the weight of the bolt is used to offset the energy of the cartridge. You have to make sure that the cartridge remains in the chamber for a long enough period of time for the pressures to drop. Now, with a blowback-operated weapon, there is no locking mechanism that locks the bolt closed. It simply uses the weight or the inertia of the bolt to counteract the energy that's being developed when the cartridge is fired. Because of that, bolts are usually much larger than you would find in typical other firearms, and they're also generally used in lower power firearms. 22 caliber is very common. 9mm is fairly common. Once you start going above that, the weight of the bolt that would be required to control that energy becomes so large that the firearm becomes impractical. So that's why usually 9mm is usually the upper end. Now, as you can see in this example, this is a silhouette of a Tech 9. It's a 9mm blowback operated pistol. You can see in the sequence here, when the trigger is pulled, the hammer flies forward, engages the firing pin, which detonates the cartridge. The cartridge propellant is ignited, and it starts to propel the bullet forward. Now, the bullet actually goes down the barrel a short distance before the bolt even starts to move, and that's because of that inertial weight of the bolt itself. So as the bolt starts to slowly go backward, and slowly is a relative term, all of this takes place in the hundredths of a second. However, there is enough time for the pressures in the barrel to drop to a safe level before the bolt comes back and extracts the cartridge and then chambers the new round and to repeat the sequence. So that's essentially it. A blowback-operated firearm is one of the simplest types of firearms as far as semi-automatic or full automatic actions, and that's how they work. Thank you for joining me this week, and of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to send them my way. I'll continue to provide content for you. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe, and as always, I'll see you next week. Thank you.